Yes, here we are. The moment has finally arrived. F1 My Team is here and we are back with another season. This episode is going to be very long, jam-packed, full of action. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you're excited, leave a like, subscribe for more daily F1 content, and as I mentioned before, I'm trying to hit 100,000 subs on the channel this year, guys. So if you're new, any help would be massively appreciated. Now then, with that admin out of the way, in the background you're seeing really quickly me go through all the settings in this career mode. We're running 110 AI simulation damage, we're running the sliders as well from the get-go, so the AI are going to have their standard rate of development, but we're going to have ours reduced and earn less wages, less R&D points to make things a bit more complicated. We're running strict corner cutting limits, full sim damage, all the works. Everything as hard as it can possibly be. So in the meantime, now you're going to see me take care of the admin work for the team, and we got given 6 options in terms of main title sponsor. Last year we had Xenon Dynamics and I thought it is the best option, but I thought we'd go for something different this year, so we're going to go for Echo, and it gives us a bit of a different look to the car and a different vibe. In terms of power unit, I had a few options and I decided to go somewhere in the middle, which in this case is most likely Red Bull powertrains, or in this case, which is what I went for, Mercedes. Teammate wise, I tried to go left field here. I'm expecting most other creators to select Oscar Piastri, so with that in mind, I'm actually going to choose Mr. Teo Pourchaire as my teammate for this season. I feel like he's a really solid option, he's got decent pace, and I think overall contract wise he's a good option for us, and it leaves us a bit of a budget to work with moving forward. So the team name is the same, 97 Racing F1 team, 400k left over, and we can now jump into our first ever interview with Will Buxton, quickly followed by the official car reveal.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. We're here at the headquarters of Formula One's newest team for an exclusive first look at what they will be bringing to the sport. It's always an exciting moment to welcome a new team onto the grid. However, what makes this occasion a little more special is how strikingly different the cars are this year. Yep, the long-awaited new regulations are finally here, and with them, the start of the next era of Formula One. The 2022 season ushers in a change of direction to the regulations aimed at promoting closer racing, with new aero additions in the form of swooping front and rear wings, along with the new eye-catching 18-inch low-profile tyres that will push tyre technology to the limit. So then, the question remains as to whether this team can grasp the opportunity before them with both hands and lead the charge against the rest of the paddock. We'll find out soon enough, as the new season is just about to begin. But first, let's see the unveiling of the team's car and meet the owner of the brand new Formula One team. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team? Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team? So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there? Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars? Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles? And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now? Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
Now, you've seen the car. The livery has been officially revealed to the world. I quite like it. We're running the new satin finish in the game on the blue, and then the matte finish on the red, and then the gloss finish on the black. I think it works really well. It just lacks sponsors, which hopefully we can quickly add by improving our acclaim, which right now is level 1. We're starting off as a newcomer. You can see we've got $400,000 to spend and 1,000 R&D points. So in the meantime, first of all, we're going to go through activities. We're going to go for a driver training camp and some pre-season advertisement to get some revenue in the team. Here is the current R&D chart situation. So we start off as the 4th from bottom team, ahead of McLaren, but behind Haas. Not too bad. We've already got a couple of upgrades on our car as it is, and we're going to go ahead and add some more. So we're going to get some over wheel winglets on the car. This is for the front downfalls, which will cost us, not too many points to be fair, about 400 points. It's not too bad. We can definitely work with that. To go with that, very important thing for you guys to note, driver perks. These go a long way, and I recommend doing these as soon as possible. We're going to go ahead and purchase development feedback level 1, which increases R&D points by 10%, which is a massive boost. After that, we simulated time and moved forward a little bit on the schedule as we couldn't do much more. We then gathered up more R&D points, a bit more cash, and I was able to do a few more moves before the first race in Bahrain. So we went ahead and purchased a, I believe, rear floor for the chassis to improve the weight redistribution. And that's going to be another little upgrade, hopefully arriving soon. And a 40% failure chance, just like on the Aero. To add to that, we're going to go for another driver perk, this time for the social media team, to improve our driver acclaim by 10%, to level up faster, to get to those sponsors quicker. With that said, we're ready for a new weekend. But first of all, let's look at our new motorhome and let's have a little chat with the engineers and make sure everything is above board.
Good morning and welcome to the team. I'm Ethan. I head up the R&D here. I'd love to stay and chat, but we've got a race to win. You'll find everything you need at your desk. Give us a shout if you need anything else.
So there is Ethan, our new race engineer for this year's game. I actually went through a couple of restarts on this crew mode to get a different engineer to what you'd normally get as a first choice. Now, the weather forecast this weekend is dry. It doesn't actually give you a percentage this year, though, which is quite interesting. Elsewhere, we have the confirmed developments on the car already. And going into this race, McLaren have actually overtaken us in terms of development. So we're actually down to the 3rd slowest team. So, yeah, with that said, practice programs. And we got off to a bit of a shaky start. I'm not going to lie. If you guys drive in 110 and you drive no assists, this car on the newcomer setting is going to be an absolute dog to drive. It's horrible. There is so much understeer and oversteer. It's heavy, it's sluggish in the slow corners. It's a real handful to drive. With that said, we got the track acclimatization done and we got a purple score on our 2nd lap. We then tried the tyre management with the new AR system, which gives you live telemetry, and I was really struggling with this. The car felt like a handful. I don't know how to do setups. I don't have a good setup. I just tweaked a balanced setup for this one, and it showed. We was off the pace. I couldn't match the deltas, and I couldn't hit the targets. And you can see we actually fouled it. I didn't even finish it. Tyre wear is actually not too bad. It's about as expected, as the blue line suggests. Anyway, I tried moving into FP2 with the cooler conditions, the nighttime conditions, to hopefully give us a chance. And the first thing we tried was actually the race strategy program on the soft tyres. And to be fair, I made some setup changes, and combined with the track conditions, it did feel better. But the delta was so fast with 110 AI. We was half a second off at minimum. It was so far away. We had no chance of actually beating the delta. So essentially no chance of completing the program. So yeah, we we'd done a couple laps, a couple of attempts, and it was no good. And this was kind of the end of it, really. As we got on that curve, we actually bottomed out with the setup and then went for a spin and then hit the wall and got rear wing damage. So game over with that practice program. I then went back to the pits. I tried the tyre management program again with the soft tyres, and this time we were able to get at least a green score, which is, you know, enough points at least to help us out a little bit. And across the line, we get confirmation of that green score, and I'm going to take that and call it a day because I don't want to put too much wear on the engine if I can avoid it. There is the improved graph with better tyre wear. And yeah, here is the situation with the programs and the R&D points. So we scored 375 out of 675, so just about over 50%. So yeah, we'll take that. Not a bad start to the weekend. Definitely could have been better, but that's the reality. This car is horrible to drive, and we're going to have to work on this quite a lot. Now, we gained quite a few points from poor chair as well, and then of course we have our discounts, which we haven't seen in a while, and that's going to help us out a lot, so we'll bear that in mind in terms of upgrades moving forward and seeing these discounts take place. Definitely want to try and get as many upgrades on as soon as possible, of course, in this career mode. Acclaim-wise, we're going to get our first boosts and our first level up as we go up to level 2, and just make progress as we prepare for qualifying. So let's see if we can make it a decent one. I feel like qualifying is going to be a true test to see where the car really is. I felt like I found something with the setup in practice, so this is going to be the test to see if that pace is true, or if the AI are going to turn it up a notch and crank up the pace even more. Either way, let's find out and let's see where our true pace really lies. Now, this is my first ever qualifying lap on this game in my team, and I think I'm going to show it in full because that way it's going to be a landmark moment and we can look back at this in a few months' time and see how far we've come. But straight away, off to an absolutely horrible start with an oversteer out the final corner. Down to turn number 1. Spot the 100-meter board as your reference, brake just before. Down to third. Still managed to miss the apex as we now get back on the gas, trying to pick up the traction through turn 2 and turn 3. DRS open up to turn 4. Bring the car over to the left and brake as the curve begins. Fourth gear, try to get the rotation and then straight line the exit nicely to get some decent drive. Down into 5, 6, 7 and 8, this entire sequence of corners, trying to make sure we don't make the same mistake as practice. Through the hairpin at turn 8, trying to get that mechanical grip. Signs gets out of the way, and now turn 9, followed up by turn 10. Straight line braking, try to get a late apex to square off the corner and drive off the corner nicely. DRS open as we get some decent traction out of there. Bring the car to the right, brake at the 100. Maybe in this case even later, about 80 meters. Fifth gear, patience on the throttle through here, just about flat through turn 12, I believe. And then now the next right hander, very difficult to get the apex, late apex, as you want to make sure you get a nice exit. And now the final corner, technically 2 apexes, but we'll class it as 1. Braking at the white DRS detection line, 4th gear, short shift to 5th, use the runoff curb to drive off nicely, and then DRS open up to the line, 29.8, and we go P10. Ahead of Gasly, to be fair, which isn't too bad, but then we went back to the pit lane to check the lap times, and reality check was hit. 6 tenths behind Teo Pourchaire. It was a massive, massive shock to see that. We are so far off the pace. Latifi behind us, Gasly as well. I know we can find more pace. The lap didn't start off the best. We missed quite a few apexes. I do believe I can shave off about half a second at absolute max, maybe 4 tenths. Either way, second attempt, and you can see here we are a tenth up, and it's a good start to the lap as we find even more time through the downhill section. Night sky is starting to fall as we're now 2 tenths up, 2.5 tenths up briefly there through the hairpin as we're finding time pretty much everywhere. But then through turn 10 we just lock up a little bit and get some front understeer and lose the entire advantage, and we drop to a 10.5 down. I kept on pushing and we managed to actually recover another 10th or so in the rest of the lap, but I realised I wasn't going to improve, and we were tight for time with 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to box and go for a final set of tyres basically. However, a bit of a bug here, a bit of an issue, Codemasters if you're watching, hopefully this gets fixed. I went to return to the garage because I didn't want to watch the entire animation of me getting pushed into the garage. And we get back to the garage and I've got damage. Fair enough, that's okay. We still have about 2 minutes to get back out there, which is enough. But then you'll see,
car repairs have set us back a little.
when we click on the monitor, for some reason the return to garage animation has simulated an entire 2 minutes of time when I was already in the pit lane. So essentially that's left me without time now with the damages to get back out on track. So game over. That's it. Qualifying done. P22 and last place. Oh my god.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, George Russell and Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, Magnussen and Pierre Gasly, Norris, Joe, Max Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, and Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Albon, Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll, Vettel, Latifi and Martinez. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now then, a new game, and we have a very interesting situation in our hands in this race. We're starting from last, P22. It wasn't the best qualifying, so we've got nothing to lose, but you can only go forward from this point. There's nothing behind us, which is a good thing, so this race can only get better. The question is, how much better can it really get? 110 AI is going to be a massive challenge. I'm not on top of setups yet, so it's going to be a big asking, to try and get points, but we're going to give it a shot and try our best. So strategy this race is going to be key. We're going to start in the medium and then go for the hard tyre. We're going to skip the soft tyre entirely because the tyre wear is way too high. Fuel-wise, I'm going to go for, I think, about half a lap extra. I'm going to keep a little bit in the reserve, but I think we'll be okay. The plan for this race, though, is to have a clean one. It might be boring. I'm not expecting too many overtakes on a one-stop strategy. The plan is to hopefully get some clean air, go nice and long, and see what happens. Down in the comments, guys, I want your predictions. So put a prediction down in chat right now and then edit the comment after the video and see if you were right. And if you're going to enjoy the race, leave a like as well. But yeah, let's get into it. A new game, a new season, a new era. Let's kick it off in hopefully the best possible way. So then, formation lap for the first time in this game. A new feature in the My Team series from now on. And we'll see if we can make it a decent start. Trying to keep my tyre temps above 85 if possible, but I also don't want to put too much tyre wear on if I can avoid it. Let's line up on the grid and hopefully get away decently. The AI are pretty strong though, so I'm not sure if that's been patched or not. Okay, let's line her up. Hopefully we can do a good job on our first ever line up on the grid. I'm going to try and line up a little bit more, pointing towards the left. We'll take that. Right, let's get into it. Here we go. A new season. Underway. Okay, the AI have been patched. Much more equal start. Here we go. Down to turn 1 for the first time. On the inside here, we're going to try and slip through and follow poor Chair. Easy does it as we're 3 abreast. Oh my god, the Aston Martin there with Sebastian Vettel running out very wide. Got completely run out to dry on that curb, which is not a lot of fun. Gonna try and see if I can find some grip at the minute. It's all a bit slow. You can feel these cars are just so big, so heavy to drive. Down the hill for the first time. Not quite able to go for any moves yet, unfortunately. Trying to find my confidence really on a full tank of fuel. Retraction, not really there at the minute. As we head to turn 10 for the first time. ERS.
Held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, Mark, to be fair, mate. Just spot on. Not ideal, but couldn't have really been worse. I mean, it can't really get much worse than this besides damage. But yeah, we'll see what we're like. Hopefully, I really hope we've got at least enough race pace to hang on to the cars ahead and stay competitive. That's kind of the aim as well, but I'm already dropping off the pace here. Stroll ran it in a bit deep into the final corner, and Latifi has picked up both Aston Martins, so fair play. As we struggle for traction, it's going to be hard for me to commentate the racing this year with these cars, at least in this state. They're so snappy. But the battles are starting to happen now. The Aston Martins getting the elbows out. Maybe there's something in it for us if we can line up the right exit. There we go. Whoa. AI definitely a bit more aggressive in this game. You've got to be careful with them. Oh, there we go. Vettel's been run out by his own teammate. My God. Right, let's go, let's go. P21. Now we can try and chase after Lance. We've got a car peeling off into the pit lane. Guan Yu Zhou.
Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I noticed we've got a Delta now, which is pretty cool in the race. That's new to me. So we're going to have a race Delta, which is pretty cool, so we get to see what our pace is lap by lap. I'm really losing time out of the final corner down to turn 4, which seemed to be pretty slow on the straights, or at least the AI using full power. I can't quite tell. Let's try and get within a second of Stroll though, if we can. Didn't get DRS in the back straight, and I think I'm just going to drop out here. I'm using up a lot of battery to stay within range, and I don't think I'm going to hang on. Nope, I think we've lost it. Damn it. Well, that's us out of contention now. The pace from the AI is too strong at the minute. I can't do much about it. It seems like Stroll's pretty quick, faster than some of the cars ahead of him. I find the handling really inconsistent, and that's not a bash on the game. That's how these cars drive. I have some really nice half laps, you know, a couple of decent corners, but then one mistake will just cost me all the time that I've made up. It's really hit and miss, at least with this car anyway. We need to get some upgrades on as soon as possible and try to figure out how setups work, which I don't have the slightest clue about. I didn't know last year and I don't know this year. I'm trying to manage and keep the last bit of my battery so I'm not gaining on the cars ahead now. Sebastian Vettel is closing in on me as well, but we're not a million miles away. There's a lot of cars ahead of us. A lot of them are battling. We've got cars in the pits already on a possible 2-stop. Hamilton in the pit lane. We just had Perez, I believe, go for a spin. I noticed on the minimap there was a yellow flag, so Red Bull having a bit of a moment. I might try and flash up a replay if I remember, but still no big changes. Just gonna keep chipping away. I'm still trying to understand how to be fast in this game. I still don't fully understand how to do it. Oh, yellow flag, I think, or something's happened. It says green flag, but someone's slowing down ahead of us. It's Haas, I think. Possible damage to the wing, but this is helping us close back up to a couple of cars. I was going to say our target this race, really all it can be, is just to be the old-fashioned beat my teammate goal. That's going to be the objective. A couple of rookie drivers in F1. Best we can do is just be our teammate. I will admit Paul Chair has been very impressive so far this weekend. He's had great pace, which is great to see. Let's see if we can try and nick some DRS. I'm going to use the rest of my battery in the hope I can stay within a second. No, never mind. Stroll's using all of it. It's not going to help. And I'm not going to get it here either, even though I'm really close. Whoa! First big moment already. And here comes Sebastian Vettel. I've got no battery. Can't even defend that. Lost all momentum on the exit. No battery, so Seb just walks past. Oh my god. Rear's struggling massively. Rear tyre wear, look at that, 37 on the left rear on lap 9. Oof. It's a long race, man. Here comes Charles Leclerc. Is he going for it? He kind of is. It's like a half committed move. It's going to just cost me time to the cars ahead. I don't really want to battle Charles, but I didn't think he'd go for it. He's going for like another half move again. Seems like this might be the new theme of the AI. I'm not actually going to let Leclerc go this time. I'm not going to spend another straight without DRS as I'm just struggling so much.
Come on, you can win that place back.
Don't think I can, Mark. I'm going to be honest with you, mate. Just about got to slow down enough. Leclerc's starting to really pick up the pace now.
2 seconds a lap to the car behind. 2 seconds.
I can't do much about that, Jeff. No, not Jeff. Mark. Hamilton through. Vettel, Albon now battling ahead. Battling quite heavily, actually. Might be something in it for us. Oh, almost got damage there on the front wing. It's amazing how much we've lost to Lance Stroll in just a lap. The way the racing works in this game. There goes Hamilton on Albon. This hasn't ended well in the past. Hamilton gets the job done though. Now we're on the back of Alex. Getting some dirty air there, bit of understeer. Well, let's just be patient. I'm going to try and save the little bit of battery that I have to try and make a move on the main straight. Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel also battling ahead. Oh my god, this is going to be tough, man. This is going to be really tough. Nowhere near close enough. Okay, we'll try again. Although Alex will have DRS on Vettel on the main straight. Oh, never mind. Lock up. Exactly what I didn't want. Hamilton's in though, again, so damage. Albon pits as well.
Box, we're coming in this lap.
Right, let's see then. Let's try and have a decent lap if we can.
The car behind you's just come in for the hard tyres. Car behind, running hard tyres.
Into the pit lane we go. That was a perfect entry. Sebastian Vettel staying up 1 more lap. So this is a possible undercut attempt. It all comes down to how quick I can get up to speed with the tyre temps. It's time to turn in. There we go. Optimal. Oh my god.
There seems to have been a bit of a problem removing the left front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong.
Straight away.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
In the very first race, we get hit with a pit stop issue. Oh my god. Right, let's try and nurse these freezing cold tyres. This is going to be a new element in this game. Going to have to get used to this. Hopefully we can find some temp by the end of the lap. Oh my god. Actually can't push one bit. We've got a yellow in the middle sector here. Coming up. Looks like it's Zoe. Come on, tyres, warm up. Second warning for track limits. Thought that was pretty close to be fair. I didn't think I was fully off, but fair enough. I also got a bit more front wing added in my pit stop for a bit more turning, which I forgot to mention, but let's see how far behind Sebastian Vettel we are. He's currently about to go pit exit. Joe in the pits again.
Okay, gap ahead is 5.1 seconds.
And there we go, so Seb ahead of us, 5 seconds is the gap. And I've completely locked up again. My god, I'm really struggling with the car. We'll gain a bit on Seb, but we're not going to gain the 2.8 on his cold tyres. Once again, I'm going to just miss out on DRS. I can't believe how many times that's happened this race. Pushing really hard to get within a second of Sebastian Vettel. We have actually caught up more than I thought, but now we're out of battery. I tried so hard to catch up, I've lost it all. This is a really frustrating race, this. Had we not had the pit stop issue, we'd be ahead of Seb right now. Another personal best as Pierre Gasly is in the pit lane.
Keep managing your tyres, manage your tyres.
So possible damage for Pierre. I'm actually similar pace to Seb. If I could just get within a second, then it could be decent for us, but I'm pushing too hard to try and get back within a second, and it's time to hurt me now. Seb's going to completely drop me now because he's got DRS on Albon. Albon and Lewis have been battling really heavily for P17, and they've kind of fallen back into us a little bit. But Vettel's going to be the main beneficiary from that, so we have some debris on the outside there. I will admit the AI do need some work. They seem a little bit erratic. Hopefully that does get patched down the line. They're just full of mistakes. Another car in the pit lane, this time Nicholas Latifi in for Williams, so possible damage. Might have been his end plate on the outside of turn 2. So we get another place. Looks like we have one of the Ferraris now, Charles Leclerc in the pit lane. I think that could be his second stop of the race, so part of his 2-stop strategy. So Leclerc, a long way down the order to be fair, although I do think he may have got damage. Pierre Gasly about to relegate me to P19 once again. There he goes. Luckily we'll get DRS as he's passed me before the DRS detection point. Leclerc also not too far behind and will be passed. I'll try Mark, but we ain't getting him back. I'm going to be honest with you, Chief. I mean, it's race over unless there's a safety car now. That's what we can really hope for. Leclerc 29.6. Nearly 4 seconds faster than us. We've got a long way to go, mate. Probably shouldn't have done 110, but you know, I wanted to try it, and I'm going to stick with it. Hopefully we'll get better. This isn't the best track, to be fair. The AR is pretty strong around here. Okay, here is Charles Leclerc. He's going to get past easily on the main straight as I almost outbrake myself into the final corner. There he goes. We've got so far to go. Yellow flag ahead. Who is it?
Caution, caution.
Looks like it's Sebastian Vettel. Okay. Could there be a late twist in this race?
Green flag.
Nope, maybe not. Never mind. Well, back up to P19 for us then. I'm struggling now to get my fuel back on target. This car is also quite heavy on consumption. I'm slow enough as it is. I feel like Alonso in 2015 with the McLaren Honda. I don't really want to go slower to save fuel as I'm already the slowest car on track, but I kind of have to just lift and coast a little bit and see if I can get the fuel back on target, and also upshift a bit earlier as well. Let's just bring this one home. Now we're not going to make it on the fuel save, but I don't really care because we're about to get lapped. Shame, I'm on for a personal best. I don't really want to throw this lap away, but I'd rather do a lap less and take a little bit less pain than try to go for a personal best in last place. Here we go then. Carlos Sainz, race leader. Letting him bite. Go on, mate. There we go. So that's it for us. That's going to be race done as Carlos is on his last lap. My God, what a reality check. This has been a brutal race for us. Absolutely painful. Across the line.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Now that was a painful race. Carlos Sainz wins it comfortably ahead of Mr. Consistency George Russell in P2 on the podium. Fernando Alonso P3 for Alpine on the podium ahead of Max Verstappen, who of course started down in P13, and then Sergio Perez in P5. Bottas P6 in the first of the Alfa Romeos ahead of Norris, Schumacher in the points, Tsunoda and Magnussen. Missing out on the top 10, Ocon, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Pourchaire, Leclerc, Stroll, Gasly, Albon, myself, Zhou, Latifi, Seb. So yeah, a painful first race. We're now going to move into the main menu, see if we can do some upgrades for the next race in Jeddah. Okay, let's get down to it. So we have a personnel department event and also activities to do. Only 3 days until the next race, so we're not going to have time for upgrades. So what we'll do is we'll just go for some G-Force training to keep Pourchaire nice and sharp. Pretty hot lap event as well, which we'll take care of in the next episode. For now though, we're going to quickly jump over to the R&D upgrades tab, and we're going to go for a power upgrade. I feel like if we can afford it, yes we can. We'll go for engine power, which in this case the ignition system. We'll get that on as we have a nice 20% discount on that, and we'll save the rest of the points in case we have any failures. No upgrades scheduled to arrive for Jeddah, so we're going to go to that second race with the exact same car. However, I'm a bit more hopeful that things will go a bit better around there because it's a bit more of a smoother circuit, a bit more high speed, not so much traction related, which seems to be an issue for me, and a bit less technical and a bit more kind of high speed and flowing, so that could actually be a benefit. I think we may have a chance of having a better weekend. So yeah guys, what we'll do is quickly take care of this personal department event, so let's have a look and see what it is. So do we focus on Pourchaire's race pace or his awareness? Whichever one we go for will be an improvement, but will also have a knock-on effect. I feel like I want Pourchaire sharp, pace-wise. I want him as fast as possible the next race, so we'll go for pace and hope that there's not too much of a consequence to his awareness moving forward. And there we go then, we're ready for the Pirelli hot lap at the next race at Jeddah. Let me know if you want to see me take part in that or not, but for now, what we're going to quickly double check is the R&D upgrades. So the aero upgrade has arrived and hasn't failed actually, so we do actually have a slightly improved car for the next race. We've overtaken McLaren, and you can see we've got the engine and chassis upgrades on the way. So if those arrive, we should get pretty close to AlphaTauri, so hopefully we can start to stack those up and make some progress. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for the season opener. Round 1 in my team. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let's try and smash over 5,000 likes. I'm going to try and push 5,000. See if you guys can do that for me. Subscribe for more. We're on the run to 100,000, as I mentioned multiple times on the channel, so any help would be massively appreciated. As always, check out the next episode, notifications on, all that good stuff. As always, a shout out to the members, and finally check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. But that's it from me here today, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, take care, and let's goodbye from me.